Before we dive into this week's episode, I want to share an exciting offer from our friends at Fourth Party. You met both Melissa Brogdon and Michael Holmes in 2 episodes where we focused on both how important your back end is to your business, as well as how important creating a smooth client experience is. Well, Fourth Party bridges the gap between great mediators and great businesses by offering technology and guidance that makes running a mediation practice feel effortless. So say goodbye to the pain of scheduling, payments, and communications with Fourth Party. And right now, they are offering listeners 20% off their first 6 months with the code Susan20. So all you have to do to take advantage of that, head over to fourthparty.app and schedule a conversation with their team. Just tell them that Susan sent you, use the code Susan20. I'll put links and notes in the show notes for you, but go check it out today. Welcome to the Practice Playbook Podcast, your go-to resource for legal professionals, mediators, and entrepreneurial experts building modern, profitable, and purpose-driven businesses. I'm your host, Susan Guthrie, attorney, mediator, and #1 best-selling author with over 35 years of experience. I'm a former chair of the ABA section of dispute resolution, and I've helped thousands of professionals build practices they love through my books, coaching, and training programs. Each week, I'll bring you real-world strategies, mindset shifts, and behind-the-scenes insights to help you grow with clarity, confidence, and impact. Let's dive in. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Practice Playbook Podcast. I'm Susan Guthrie, your host, and today I just want to share some thoughts on a recent experience I had with you all, because every once in a while, the work you've been quietly doing for years suddenly reaches the right person at the right time. And for me, at least, the result was something truly magical. For me, that moment came recently when I was invited to be a guest expert on the Oprah Podcast to talk about gray divorce. Now, honestly, it's hard for me to even put in words what that experience meant to me, not only as a professional who spent over 3 decades helping families through divorce, but also as someone who has for so long admired Oprah's ability to hold space for stories that matter. In a very small way, I try to bring people's stories and insights and wisdom to the world through my podcasts, and that's certainly not the platform that she has created. But, she is a hero to me in what she does and what she's accomplished over the many years. So the idea that suddenly I was going to get to meet another one of my heroes really was a significant impact on me. Before I say anything else, however, I do want to pause for a minute and thank all of you. The listeners, my colleagues, my friends, all my supporters, everyone who has been reaching out with such kindness and enthusiasm ever since the episode dropped. I have been getting your messages, your emails, your DMs, your posts, flowers. So many things. And I want you to know that it has truly meant the world to me, because you have all been excited for the opportunity. It's interesting because on Divorce and Beyond, my divorce podcast, which some of you here in the Practice Playbook space may not even know I have another podcast, but Divorce and Beyond has been around for even longer. It's almost 6 years old. And, the idea that this community that has grown through my podcasts and through my work, through Divorce and Beyond, now through the Practice Playbook, that we have created this community. It's just proof to you all that when you share your message consistently, the right people really do find it. So today, I just want to take you behind the scenes and share what I learned from the experience. It was not just the thrill of meeting one of my heroes, but the deeper professional lessons that apply to anyone building a meaningful, visible, and purpose-driven practice. First one here is you never know what might happen. You do not know. I was sitting at home on Labor Day weekend, minding my own business, when I got a mysterious email from someone who said they were an executive producer from the Oprah show, and would I be able to get to New York in about a week and a half's time to be on her podcast. I honestly thought I was being punked. I almost deleted the email. Thank God I looked and saw that it had a harpo.com, did my due diligence and Googled, and lo and behold. But lesson number one from this, everyone, is you never know what might happen. You do not know which one of your posts, your podcast episodes or guest appearances, your articles, your speaking engagements, you don't know which one will be the one that lands with someone who can change everything, right? The Oprah team found me through Divorce and Beyond. I've done almost 400 episodes of Divorce and Beyond. That's years of recording, thousands of minutes of conversation, hundreds of guests that I've met and gotten to know. But it all started with one guest, a decision to show up, a decision to try and share some of the value that I thought I had learned over the years as a divorce attorney and then mediator, and to make a conversation on that podcast, much as I've tried to do here, that helps others, right? So the Oprah effect that I reference in the title here, it's a real thing. I'm just going to say that. The Oprah effect is real. You've probably heard about it, where people say, Oprah picked their book for book club and suddenly they're a New York Times bestseller and it's being made into a movie. I don't have any of those things happening. But in 2 weeks' time since that episode dropped, there have been some very exciting things that have happened, some new opportunities that are coming to me. And suddenly, people who might never have known my work have discovered my podcasts, my websites, and this show. The real lesson isn't about being discovered, however. It's about being discoverable. You have to have something out there for them to find. You have to give people something to find or how they find you. So if you're building a practice, a business, or a brand, just keep putting out thoughtful, consistent content. I didn't put out the Divorce and Beyond podcast or my LinkedIn post thinking Oprah was going to call me. That was, trust me, never on my radar. Never on my radar. But I'm blessed and grateful that someone on her team saw one of those, heard one of those. You have to give people something to find. Don't worry about likes or how many downloads you get or any of that. Worry about clarity. One clear message can carry further than 100 clever ones. And the takeaway here is just keep showing up. I know it gets discouraging to be putting content out and thinking no one's reading it, or posting something on LinkedIn and no one likes it. Just keep showing up. Number 2 here, the second thing that I have learned from this experience when I dove underneath and really took a look, is that when a platform like the Oprah podcast invites you to share your expertise, it is a gift, but it's also a responsibility, because you are not just representing yourself. You are representing your field, your values, and the people you serve. That really not weighed on me, but that was really at the forefront of my mind as I prepared for that episode and as I sat on that stage across from Ms. Winfrey. I spent a lot of time thinking about how to show up in that moment and how to distill literally 35 years of work into insights that would resonate with her millions of listeners. Many of them hearing about something called gray divorce for the very first time. And if you're one of those people here, quick insight. Gray divorce is when someone or a couple that has either been married for an extended period of time, usually 20 or 30 years, or is over 50, gets divorced. And it is very much on the rise in the United States. I will, of course, as all of this in the show notes, have a link to the Oprah podcast, both the video and the audio, in case you do want to listen. And it's not to listen to just about gray divorce, although it's a wonderful episode. There's so many heartwarming moments in this episode, but also just to hear how she masterfully shepherded the episode. I think I'm a good interviewer. She's a whole different level. Before I got on that stage, I had a week and a half to think about how I was going to show up. And the fact that I was showing up with an opportunity and a platform that very few colleagues would ever have the ability to achieve and or that I would ever have available to me again. And so I wanted to make sure I represented the messaging and the passion that I have for trying to help people divorce in a way that is not destructive and acrimonious and conflictual. And I wanted to make sure that I had my message distilled down in a way that I could say that well in such momentous circumstances. And that's what I'm going to call platform stewardship. It's about being prepared, professional, and humble, because it's about serving, not performing. And that's true whether you are on a local panel, whether you're writing a guest article, or as in my case, you're sitting across from Oprah Winfrey. Here's what it looked like for me. I reviewed the show's format, tone, and audience. I listened to a bunch of her episodes. I refined my talking points around clarity and empathy, the two things that I think matter most in divorce communication. I worked with her producers. I had several hour-long prep sessions with them. I've never prepped for a session anymore in my entire life, but we really honed in on the message. We did our research. We got things pulled together. And most of all, I approached the recording with gratitude. I wasn't nervous. The attitude of gratitude, that mindset, it really kept me grounded and present in that moment. I was thrilled to have this platform to share a message that I have been so passionately trying to share for so many years. So the takeaway from this is big moments reveal how you practiced the small ones. So hundreds of times I've had small moments, and hopefully that helped me stay calm and keep my cool on that stage in the big moment. My next takeaway sort of builds on this, I have to say, because it's about preparation and gratitude. So many people who have reached out have said, you were so calm. You didn't stutter. You didn't, sound like you didn't know what to say. You were very calm. The answer to how you stay calm is in preparation, but also in perspective. Before the recording, I practiced my key points, much as you might like to do before you get up and give a speech, before you sit on a panel. You will go over your main talking points. But I also spent the minutes just before stepping on that stage, centering myself on that gratitude I felt. And I thought about every listener, client, and colleague in the 35 years, or I tried to, who had helped shape my work. And I thought about the years that it took to build the kind of credibility that led to the invitation that I had. And that mindset helped to transform nerves into energy, because I felt like I wasn't being tested, I was being trusted. tested, no. Trusted, yes. And that is a powerful, powerful shift. So before any speaking or media opportunity, ask yourself, who am I here to serve? Who are you there to support? Why are you there? Who is your audience? And what do you have for them? What's the gift you have for them that you're going to share? Because gratitude will change your anxiety into alignment. And then I want to just talk one last moment here about the experience of meeting your heroes. Many of you have heard my story of meeting Ruth Bader Ginsburg. If you've seen me on a camera in my office, you know that her portrait hangs behind me. And there's a reason I have her hanging behind me, because she reminds me that anything is possible. And, that story briefly was that I had one of those big birthdays coming up, and my husband had asked me what I wanted to do for that birthday. Did I want a big party? And of course, for one of those big birthdays, the last thing I wanted was a big party. And he said, well, think of something wild and crazy and we'll do it. And I said, well, I'd like to meet Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And we laughed because that wasn't going to happen. And both promptly forgot about it. And I think we made a dinner reservation or something to go out and celebrate, which was lovely. But about a week later, in the mail from the American Bar Association comes an invitation to apply to be sworn in before the Supreme Court of the United States, and then to attend a reception that would be graced with the presence of, yes, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And so the moral of that story is 5 days after that birthday, I was shaking her hand as I became a member of the Supreme Court, of the Bar of the Supreme Court of the United States. Fun fact, I'll be going back to the Supreme Court this June on my actual birthday, because I will be hosting the American Bar Association Senior Lawyers Group that will be being sworn in 2026. So unfortunately, Her Honor will not be with us. But that was, I thought, my experience of meeting a hero, right? One of my heroes. And it was an extraordinary honor. And then I had the opportunity to meet Oprah Winfrey. What both experiences remind me is that true greatness is not loud. It's grounded, intentional, and deeply human, because both of these women exude a kind of presence that makes you, in that moment and beyond, want to be better. Not for recognition, but for purpose. You had that same feeling in their presence. And those moments reaffirmed something I've always believed. When you dedicate your life to helping others, doors open in unexpected ways. And if you're lucky enough to walk through one, you owe it to everyone behind you to bring what you learn back. So remember, meeting your heroes reminds you that excellence is a mirror, not a pedestal. The Oprah effect is often talked about in terms of visibility. And it's true. More people will find my work as a result of this. But the real effect is the ripple. It reminds people that this community exists. Professionals who care deeply about making divorce, mediation, and dispute resolution better. Since that episode aired, again, only 1 week ago, I've heard from new listeners, former clients, former colleagues, current colleagues, professionals who I've not met before, who said, I didn't realize you could build a practice this way. And that's why I share this story with you all. Not to celebrate the appearance, but to celebrate the impact that it's already having. It's letting everyone know, hey, if it can happen for Susan, if something like that can happen for Susan, it can happen, whatever the it might be. Meeting Oprah for me was a hero moment. We all can have our hero moments. And that's what I want you to walk away from this, knowing that anything is possible. Visibility multiplies impact. When you have a mission worth amplifying, do good work. And then when you have the opportunity to be visible, it will multiply the impact. So if I had to distill the experience down to just a few golden nuggets, they'd be these. First, be discoverable. Producers search for clarity. So know your message and own it. Serve when you're given a platform. If someone asks you to do a lunch and learn, do the lunch and learn. If someone asks you to speak at the local Chamber of Commerce, speak at the local Chamber of Commerce. If someone asks you to contribute a short article to the local bar journal, do the short article. When you have the opportunity to share on a platform, you never know who might see it. When you are getting ready to provide anything, prepare with intention and deliver with gratitude. And if you happen to receive the admiration of others, don't take that as you've done something special, but let it serve to fuel your growth so that you can grow and continue to help others. I am so grateful for everyone who has supported me, who has listened to my podcast, who has shared, and who has reached out. The Oprah Podcast episode on Gray Divorce is linked in the show notes, and I hope it reminds you that no matter what field you're in, when preparation meets platform, magic happens. Thanks so much for listening to the Practice Playbook podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, I would love it if you'd take a moment to leave a review, follow the show, or share it with a colleague who's ready to build the practice of their dreams. If you want more support and tools like the ones you heard today, join the waitlist for the Practice Accelerator, my brand new subscription program packed with resources to help you grow smarter. You can find the link in the show notes or visit susaneguthrie.com to learn more. Until next time, stay focused, stay intentional, and remember, success starts with the right playbook.